What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Santiago Show. This is episode number 14. And this episode, Robert, you can get in a little bit, I think just get a little bit in the frame. Yeah, you good?
Yep.
All right, awesome. Yeah, so I'm here with my guy, Rob. Robert, what's going on, man?
What's up, y'all?
And I am excited, for what's to come with this episode. This was something that I think needed to be done. And when I thought of the idea, I said to myself, this is something that I think would, definitely draw a lot of people in because this is a conversation that happens all the time. But it never really gets, the attention it should. So, Robert, before we begin, I just want you to introduce yourself. Tell folks why you're here. And, just give them a little spiel. You know what I'm saying?
Well, hey, what's up? I'm Robert. I'm just here to, shed some light on the topic at hand and, really just help, open people's eyes because I know there's a lot of exposure to, what this episode is going to be about. But I feel like there's still not enough sometimes. So if this could, open somebody's eyes, make them look at people of the community differently, then my job is done. And this is kind of fun, being on a podcast and stuff.
Yeah, it is fun. It is a fun thing. Every time somebody comes on, after we finish recording, we say, yo, I had fun. And that's what matters, is, just having fun. So, you attend Eagle like me. First, I want to say, before we dive in straight into the content, you are probably one of the most caring dudes I know. Seriously, you're a very caring guy.
Thank you.
That is something I was speaking to Fernando before the recording, like I told you, and we were just talking about how caring you are and how awesome you are, bro. So yeah, I definitely got to give you a super shout out on that.
I really appreciate that.
Yeah, man, no problem. I'm just I'm excited once again. Thank you for taking the time out.
Of course.
So yes, this is the episode that I wanted to do. And this is it. This is the mindset of a gay black man. Yes, what happens, in the life of a gay black man. So, Robert, I'm going to tell you how this is going to go. And we're just going to dive right into it, okay? So here I have some questions. I may think of questions, to ask while we're recording. But, I made up these questions based on my own thoughts. Because I'm straight, and I don't know what gay black men go through.
Yeah.
I don't. You know what I'm saying? I can't know. And I think the goal here is to have you sort of have me understand the best way possible to support you guys. As not only oppressed because of the color of your skin, but also your sexuality.
Yes, definitely.
And I think that this is going to be an eye-opener for a lot of men out there who don't know how to encounter, somebody who may be gay. And, there's a bunch of stereotypes about men who are gay.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't want him next to me because, he might hit on me. Stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And so I think we have a goal with this episode, and, let's get it. Let's do it.
Let's go.
All right. Here's the first question. So my first question for you, Robert, I met you in 2016. No,
17.
I met you in 2017. We met through the Fellowship Initiative by JP Morgan Chase. Shout out JP Morgan. And I remember you. I remember seeing you for the first time. I did not think you were gay. I thought you were just like a regular Joe, a regular dude. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And when you came out to the group, I think that I just had to respect, how confident you were, how you just did it so flawlessly, and I just remember just admiring it, because I think growing up in a community where being gay isn't tolerated at all, it just kind of made me see you in a different light.
Yeah.
See gays in a different light, like that right there. You know what I'm saying? And so I like, once again, man, like, you just did it so flawlessly. You did it so just well, and it was the way you did it was kind of like, wow, like that's brave. You know what I'm saying? Like, in a room full of men of color, and you know, the homophobia that could come with our community, depending on who you speak to.
It's real.
It's real. It's
very real.
So my question to you, so what age did you come out for the first time?
So I came out at like, I want to say 16, because like this.
So around that time period.
Yeah, like 15, 16. Okay. But I came out like more than once, which is like, it's pretty common. You have to come out. Like, you find yourself coming out like throughout your whole life.
Yeah.
So like my first actual coming out was like on Facebook. So there was like this link, and you know, like those links that you could click on just for fun, and it like tells you something about yourself based on your profile. And this one was like a sexuality one. It was like, you gay, straight, bi, whatever. So I clicked on it, and then it said I was gay. So I was like, okay, well, let me share it. So I shared it, and I got like way more attention than I thought I was gonna get, because I thought people was gonna think that it was a joke. So I was getting like a bunch of responses and stuff. Most of them, like, people were supporting me and stuff, and it was like really a lot of people from my school. So that was like 8th grade summer going into freshman year. So when I came back from, you know, summertime, whatever, everybody just knew. And
I'm just gonna make a little bit of space for you on the table. Yeah.
Everybody just knew. So it was kind of like it was a little unsettling, because everybody knew, but they weren't saying too much yet. But I got like a lot of love like online, thankfully, because I feel really blessed, because I know that a lot of people don't get any kind of support or any kind of like love around that. And it's really like, it's a hard thing to do. And then I came out, I think when I was, freshman year. Like, okay, so whenever Prince died, that's how I remember it. So that's when I came out to my mom, and
what was that like?
It was very nerve-wracking. So like, I just wanted to like get it out and tell her. So I told her that, like, I was talking about the Pride Parade because my friend wanted me to go. I didn't really want to go, but I was just bringing it up, and then she was like, oh, she eventually got her question. She's like, what, are you gay? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, you know, she's kind of dramatic, so she was just like in awe. She's like, oh my God, like, what? Grabbing the sink, looking down at it and all that. So it was hard, because I didn't know how like how things were gonna change. So she was like, I gotta go to because she was cooking, so she was like, I gotta go to my room and process this. I was trying to talk to her, but she was like, don't bother me, like, I just need to go in my room and process this. So I was like, okay, well, and like I was like on the verge of tears, because she was like, don't talk to me. I was like, oh shit, like that hit a nerve. So yeah, and then a year later I came out to my dad.
Oh, so it was a whole year gap.
Yeah, because I was really, really like hesitant to tell my dad, because I already had an idea of how he felt about that. You know, my parents are older, so they're mostly old school. My mom's more like modern, and she's adapted pretty well. I told my dad and my stepmom via like text message. I texted them both at the same time, and then my stepmom called me, and she was like, well, I don't really care, like, I still love you and stuff like that. This doesn't change anything, but I can't say the same for your father, because he's very old-fashioned. He doesn't know how, like, he you know, he has a different view on these things. So like maybe 2 days later, it was on a Sunday, I went to go wash my clothes, and he called me. He was like, hey, yo, you want to talk? I'm like, okay, sure. He's like, yeah, so I'm gonna he's like, all right, I'm coming over there now. And I was kind of like nervous, because I'm like, oh, he's driving. I thought he would just want to talk on the phone. So he came to the laundromat, told me to come in the car. He told my sister to go in the laundromat. So I was like going in there thinking that he was gonna like hurt me or something. And I got in the car. We just talked about it real quick, and I can't remember the conversation word for word, because I was just so like nervous. I didn't know what he was gonna say, what he thought. But he was like, you know, I don't really get it. Like, you've never really like had much interaction with girls. Like, you went to an all boys school for a lot of your life. Like, you never been with a girl. And I was just trying to explain to him, like, it's just something that I know. Like, it's, even though I do go to an all boys school, it doesn't really like change much about like what I know I like. Right. You know what I mean? And yeah, like, that's really it.
So your father thought that the fact that you went to an all boys school, that was the
Yeah, he definitely thought that it had like something to do with it.
Right.
You know, that was a lot of people's assumptions.
Well, I mean, I go to all boys school.
Yeah, it's like
I'm straighter than a pencil, so I don't. You feel me? Like I can't say what he thinks is correct. I've been around men almost my entire life. I have an older brother. My household has a man in it. I've been an all males program. Shout out Aim High, because this is also an all males program, along with TFI and Eagle Academy. Repping Aim High today.
Yes,
Aim High Empowerment Institute. Shout out Sherman Brown. Shout out Dr. Cecile Wright. All those guys over there. But yeah, I don't think that's normal for him to think that. I think that's to me is just insane. So let's backtrack real quick.
Yeah.
So you came out to your dad a year later. So I'm assuming your mother and father don't talk.
Yeah, they don't. They were never like, they were together when they had me and my sister, but then like
right. So okay, because I think for me, so I grew up with my dad my biological dad out the house too, and my father, he's distant. He's close but distant at the same time. And I know that whenever I did some crazy shit at school, though, my mom would tell him. So like I think that would be like something that your mom would probably say, hey, listen, I know we're not together or whatever the case is, but listen, our son just came out to me about X, Y, and Z.
Yeah. As
parents, we need to come together and speak on that. But that is so that is just confidence, like that is amazing what you did. I gotta give you that, man. That's crazy. So damn, I don't even know what to say. I'm just gonna move on with my next question, but that is just.
Before you get to your next question, I also want to point out that like I'm my dad's only son, so I know that hit him like pretty hard.
Yeah.
His other two daughters, he.
Damn. So I could just imagine, I think, but to be fair, right? I think from your dad's perspective, and thinking from like a mindset like his, you grow up old fashioned.
Yeah. Being
gay isn't something normal. Or let me not say isn't something normal.
It's definitely out of norm. It's not expected.
For his time period, when he grew up, if you were gay, that was like the biggest sin of it all. And so that wasn't normal. And even if people were gay, I'm pretty sure a lot of dudes back in the day were gay.
Definitely.
But they, they probably just took that shit with them to the grave, man. You know what I'm saying? Like some dudes like probably never spoke about it. And so I'm pretty sure for him, like it was a hard pill to swallow. Yeah. But also I'm glad he kind of came to you and spoke to you in person about it. I think that's powerful right there. Because it could have been a simple text, "You're not my son," blocked. You know what I mean? Yeah. Which I've seen happen to other gay people that I know, or lesbian people that I know, LGBTQ and so on. But that's interesting. It's very, very interesting. Would you say you have your father's support today?
Yeah, I definitely have his support. He was like at the end of the conversation, I forgot to point out, my bad, but like for my mom and my dad, like eventually they came back and they were like, like I still love you. I still have, I'm still behind you. Like I still got your back. Yeah. So like that was something that I appreciated the most, because that was what I feared the most was
the lack of support.
Yeah, and like just being disowned or something like that.
And you know what? That is actually one of my questions too. So it's actually the second question is, was there any fear people wouldn't accept you for who you are? Obviously, as a gay man, that's a bit of a norm. That comes with it, because we live in a society where being gay is abstract. But more so from family and friends. Like, was that like a common fear? You kind of answered that already. But like when I say, but let's focus more on like maybe on the friends part. Like I know you go to an all boys school. We both go to the same school, different buildings. So I know it was kind of a interesting sort of vibe you will probably get at school, because you go into school with a bunch of guys. You're probably like, yo, look at, like, you have so many fears, because men, we can be very homophobic. I mean, people could be homophobic, period, but being in an all guy school, probably going to be the one guy at lunch nobody's going to sit next to, nobody wants to be next to. But when did you come out to friends at Eagle at school?
It was basically like the Facebook thing.
Oh, so that kind of got the attention too.
Yeah.
And what was like, so what day was that? Was that a weekend or something? Do you remember? I don't remember. I just know it was in the summertime. School was coming back around. So what was it like coming into school for the first time since announcing, who you were and, how you wanted to express yourself? Like, was there any fear? Was there any, just excitement, or was there any like shyness? Like, like walk me through your mind, going going to school, with that, with now people knowing who you are.
Yeah, definitely. So I was like, every time school came back around, even though I've been going to the school for like 7-8 years, every time I come back in September, I'm naturally nervous because I haven't seen most of these people in like 2 months. So this time around, I was especially nervous, but in the back of my mind, like I remember all like those comments and stuff on my post, and people still.
What comments were on the post?
They were like, just supporting comments like, oh, like really, like I didn't know that, I still support you, still got love for you, this and that. But I was still nervous. But, I just came back. The nerves kind of went away eventually, and people just knew. And then eventually that just came with like a bunch of questions, even from freshman year all the way until like,
till now.
Yeah.
Right.
Just people had questions. They wanted to know certain things, and they wanted to really like know what I thought. And they came with like a lot of preconceived notions and all that, like of how gay people or gay men are, which it's not always the case, because people had suspicions, right? But it kind of caught a lot of people from left field because they didn't really expect that, because I wasn't like outwardly like extremely flamboyant.
Yeah, you're not, and that's what I said in the beginning of the episode, was when I met you, I literally thought you were just, your average Joe.
Yeah.
And when you, like I said, when you said that, it kind of was like, what? Like, for real? Like, I remember that day. I think, who was I? I think I was next to Makai, or I was next to somebody in Squad 1. And I was like, yo, for real? Like, is he dead serious? Like, or is he bullshitting? But, like, nah, man, but yeah, go on though, but sorry.
That's okay. Yeah, like, I was pretty scared. Like, I thought people were gonna, just not like mess with me no more. Like, I thought I was gonna like lose a lot of my friends, and it was something in the back of my mind for a long time. So throughout, like, middle school sometimes, because it took me a while to like fully make this realization. Right. So as I got closer and closer to the realization, I kind of like started to push it back for a little while, like to the back of my head, and I thought like, yo, I'm gonna lose all my friends. Like, my friends are not gonna fuck with me no more. They're just gonna turn the other cheek. Like, they're just gonna act like I don't exist because I came out and stuff like that. But really, I didn't really get that response. I was very, very surprised that a lot of people.
That's good.
And I was shocked because like the amount of love I received, the love and support that I got was a little bit like foreign for me doing something like this, because I was expecting to get like burnt at the stake or something like that.
Yeah. That's crazy. So you kind of came out, you had the support system there. You really didn't need I'm not gonna say you didn't need, but like you didn't have the average experience as some gay men do, because this is very common. A lot of people come out and they lose their parents, they get kicked out of the home, they lose friends, they're just, their life is like over just because they express who they are. But you was the opposite. And you grew up in a community full of African Americans.
Yep. And
that kind of makes me feel good, because we have a community where homophobia is something that I would say is an issue.
Definitely.
I would say that a lot of straight black men, or straight men period, don't know how to go about approaching a gay man. I'm trying to phrase this the best way possible.
Yeah.
And the fact that you've had that support system, it kind of makes it show how we're changing that. How our youth is changing that.
Yeah.
That my generation's changing that. So when we have kids, we can let them know, like, listen, you don't have to think, oh, he's gay, so let me not touch him, or let me not get next to him because he's probably gonna kiss me.
Yeah.
Shit like that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, listen, that's uncalled for.
Very.
And so I think that is something that's just interesting. It's very interesting because, I was definitely not expecting that response. I thought you were going to come on here and say a complete sob story, and we're going to get all emotional, and then this is going to be like one of the emotional episodes. But no, you had a support system behind you. You had people who said, yo, even though X, Y, and Z happened, I'm still, rocking with you.
Yeah.
And I respect that. My next question, though, and this question's a little bit... I don't like this question. I don't like the fact that I made this question. I don't like the fact that I'm asking this question. But this is a question that I think I'm going to try to make sense of. So for me, I'm a straight man. The question is, Robert, when did you know that you were gay? But that question is not right because, when did I know that I was straight? I knew I was straight from the time I know what I like.
Yeah, and a lot of time, like when people, because even though I did get a lot of support, especially at school, I did get a little bit of people coming at me with like these, like very obviously like trolly, stupid questions that they trying to like get a rise out of me or something, and they would ask me this question. Some of them would be actually serious, but a lot of time I hit them with like, when did you know you were straight?
Yeah, and I knew I was straight from the time I was a kid. When I see a woman, I'm like, yo, she fire.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's no different.
Yeah, and that's probably, in my opinion, one of the best ways to explain it.
Yeah.
It's like, how did you know? Like, you just knew.
But see, I want to tweak that a little bit because I don't like the question I'm really trying to get at is growing up, right? One of the things you're taught, and I've seen it time and time again, people go, like, I will see like a kid in like a park do something like would make you question if he's gay, and the parent immediately goes, hey, don't do that. That's gay.
Yeah.
I've seen that.
Yeah.
I've seen that in households. So my question is, did you experience that? Or did you when did you understand that being gay was an issue in your society? I'm pretty sure you understood that from the time you were a kid. Yeah. Now my question is, so this is the question I want to ask is, when did you accept it and roll with it? So, yeah.
So it took me a long time to realize, and then I had to realize, accept, and then like roll with it, come out.
Yeah, because it's like, just to tweak the question a bit. It's like, when you get that feeling, for example, you watch TV, you see it in the news, you see it in the magazines, you see it in the movies, you see it in cartoons, whatever. It's always man and woman. Yeah. So that's kind of what my question is that you knew that what you felt was not something normal. So yeah, when did you realize that?
Probably from a young age because, like people. Well, I want to say elementary school. And
wow, so young.
Yeah, like everybody was like, oh, gay, this, gay that. So gay equaled bad. Gay was synonymous with bad, and it's always been like perceived that way in my head until I had to like figure out, no, it's not bad. It's actually like, it's a thing. But it was like, I would always see it on TV, like man, woman. I'm like, okay, well, obviously that's not me. Like, so it was something that was hard for me to come to terms with because I'm like, obviously this is, well, what I thought at the time was like, obviously this isn't very normal and I need help or something like that. Or people can't know about this because I'm going to be weird. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. So it was like, I don't know. I just had to really like sit with myself and just like, hey, like you actually like dudes and that's okay. Even though you don't want to tell people, just keep thinking about it. Try to come to terms with it yourself because then once you do that, you'll be able to tell other people.
Did you plan coming out or was it like, was it like just the day, like it just happened? Like, like was it something that like just got brought up in a conversation and you just said it and that was it? Or did you plan it? Like, hey, mom, like, you woke up, like, yo, this is the day I'm going to say, this is how I feel. Like, how did you go about the coming out thing?
Well, it wasn't planned, but I was definitely thinking about doing it eventually. So, like, that little Facebook thing was, like, very convenient. Right. And then just happened. And then, after that, I knew I was going to have to do it more than once. Like, it's not just going to be Facebook and then that's it. Yeah. People know.
It's like a part of you. Everywhere you go, you would want to know. You would want to tell people, who you are. So, no one says something and, it's like super offensive or anything like that. With or without like someone gay in the room. But like, just kind of getting that feel. Yeah. Yeah. So, my next question to you, and this is a question that I'm going to actually really need to listen in for, because this is a question I struggle with all the time. But as straight men, how could we support guys like you in society? How could we make life for you easier?
Definitely just like try not to like I want to say put your best foot forward. If you don't want to approach them, don't. Because like, when we come into a room, a lot of times, sometimes people can tell that we're gay already.
Right.
And we know that we're not in a room full of people like ourselves. Automatically, like all that anxiety and like nervousness comes in, because we don't know if he's homophobic. We don't know if he is actually okay with it or not. Like, I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to get beat up, or somebody come at me and have all these like things to say, and they barely know anything about me besides.
Do you fear that? Like. Do you fear coming out and to someone and your life threatened about it or anything that way? Like, have you ever been nervous to come out in front of a group of people? Like, let's say you meet this guy, he's the bro and stuff, but you don't want to tell him because he might run off. Like, is that a common fear? Like, is that something like you fear on the daily?
I want to say that it was something I used to fear, like when I was a little bit younger, but I know that like as I get older that it's different now. I want to say that it's different now. I know people still have a lot of ignorance towards gay people, especially black gay people, but it's definitely being like more widely accepted, and like the fear kind of like dissipates once you like just a little bit when you know that. But I feel like it definitely depends on where you come from, or like where you're at specifically, because some people will actually get violent with you. Some people will actually like try to hurt you, or maybe even like God forbid kill you. Because as a black gay man, like I don't fear for my life as much as like a black trans woman would, because they're definitely like in more of like detriment, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah. No. Definitely.
Than myself, because that's a whole other conversation, and I don't want to speak too much on that because I'm not trans, but I want to say they definitely have it worse. So I used to fear. To sum it up, I used to fear it, but now it's not so much. But I get nervous every time. It's never something that's like, oh, I'm gay. Like, even when I seem like I'm not, it's not a big deal to me. I just say it like I'm trying to get it over with, and I just want people to know, and it's in the air, and that's it. So yeah,
that's a good way to say that. What would you like to say to anybody who may be going through what you went through, maybe a young gay black man or a young gay man watching this, regardless of race now? What advice, if you had to say three things, I'm gonna ask you to say three things.
Okay.
Three things you would have to tell these people out there who may be going through whatever you're going through, and maybe it's not just gay men but lesbians, people who just need to come out and say something. Like, what would you recommend, or some advice you would give them?
I definitely want to say like do it when you're ready. Definitely do it when
I feel like that's a powerful one.
Yes, and like come to terms with it, like fully come to terms with the fact that you are not heterosexual, and that it's okay, that it's a thing, and gay people have been around forever. So it's like that's definitely come to terms with it, and that's two things. So maybe the third thing is like make sure that you are supported. Well, I know that it's not hard. It could be hard to tell sometimes, especially like in your environment, but make sure at least you have like one person you could tell. Like, you have probably a best friend that's maybe even gay themselves, or maybe in the community, and if you could just tell that one person, it'll definitely lift like a huge weight off of your chest.
So my question is, what if you don't have that one person? Because you have people out here who don't have nobody at all, like who literally live with homophobic mother and father. They probably live in a town where that gay shit is dead.
Yeah.
Like, it's not happening. They might have seen somebody who tried to do that. Seen they probably got their ass kicked and was like, well, I don't want that happening to me. So what would you do then?
That's
a tough question.
Yeah, it is a hard question. It's like, well, especially if you're young, it's a little more like biased because I'm young myself. But if you're in that environment and you just know you can't do it, I would definitely say like, just wait. and then use all that time to like come to terms with yourself. Even if you've come to terms with it, great. Just wait. Yeah. Because you do not want to put yourself in a dangerous situation just because you, like, I get it. You do need something to say. Like, you have something to say. You want people to know because you don't want it to be something that's like, oh, like weighing on you. So if you're in a tough situation, just wait. Absolutely. Just wait and try to see if you can work your way around that. And maybe, I don't even know, maybe even go online and try to like find a support system.
They have like hotlines and stuff?
Like yeah, they have.
Okay. Yeah, you know, one thing I would say to that, to answer my own question, is you're not condemned to anything. And I'm a strong believer in that. Listen, I've had my own hardships in life where I thought, you know, like this was it. You know, like my for example, you know, my educational journey, you know, I didn't always have the best grades in school. And for a minute, I was kind of like, yo, this is it. Like, I'm going to be this average C/D student. I'm going to go to a community college. Nothing wrong with that. I'm going to go to I'm just going to stay home. I'm not going to get the college experience. I'm not going to do anything of that. I'm just going to get a degree because society tells me to get a degree. I'm going to end up in debt. I'm going to, you know, do whatever. And, you know, that's how I'm going to live my life. But then I kind of realized that that's sort of an average mindset, in my opinion. You know, to just kind of go to school, go to college, do your job, get old, die. You know, I knew I was something more than that. And so I told myself, I said, yo, you're not condemned to anything. You can get yourself out of any situation. That's personally how I feel. You know, especially as a man growing up in America. All the stuff. I don't even got to go into depth in that. I do that too much, and I kind of want to shy away from that from this episode. But, no, definitely. I definitely think if there's anybody out there, who is going through something like that, I'll definitely put the hotline somewhere here. I'll probably put the hotline here, around here, and definitely reach out to somebody. They exist. There's people out there who will support you. There are people out there who will sort of find you, and, you know, kind of make you be relaxed. Because I'm pretty sure not only the part of just, you know, the emotional part of being scared or, you know, disappointing others, but the mental part it can have on yourself. Like, you know, like it may drive you to things like suicide and, you know, I mean, what do you think? Because, you know, this is...
Yeah, like, well, when you said that, like, the first thing I think about is people, like, back in the day especially, and I know people even now that, like, really hold on to that, like, secret, and they take it with them. Like you said earlier, they take it to the grave. They will... Oh, yeah. They will sit there, they will just live with their sexuality, pretend they're something that they're not, and then end up, you know, getting married, having a bunch of children, and just living with that.
Yeah, there's a lot of... I was actually seeing a video talking about a lot of rappers, you know, who you would suspect who's gay, depending on lyrics, stories that are told by other gay people, like yo, I've slept with this rapper and this and that. And like I said, it's all about community and who you have as a support system. You know, I'm pretty sure if, I don't know, Lil Wayne came out as gay, hip hop world would go crazy.
Yeah, it'd be all over that.
It'd be all over. It'd be top headlines everywhere, right?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think though, you got to go out, you got to get help. You definitely got to, you know, make your voice be heard. And, you know, I think that these are probably some of the most confident people today, because today, you know, we live in a very liberated society where now that's been aware a lot more. I'll tell you that. Yeah. You know, the LGBTQ is, you know, there's no argument. In 2020, the LGBTQ is more of a norm than it was in 1975.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
So it's support is there. You can definitely go get it. But Robert, I don't want to hold you for too long. We actually have a 8 p.m. curfew here in New York, so I don't want you to be stranded out on the street or anything like that, getting harassed by police. But anything you want to say, anything you want to share before we close up and wrap up the episode?
I want to tell you how, you know, like, I don't have it that bad, and a lot of people, like, well, especially at school, you know, I could have definitely been, like, bullied and stuff like that. I feel like the worst thing that probably happened to me was, like, this kid, he was, like, a 6th grader. When I was in,
middle school kids in Eagle?
Wild.
Wild.
They're so crazy.
Kids, period, though. Middle school kids, like, straight a-holes, bro.
Yeah. It's wild. Like, accused me of like rape.
Huh?
Yeah, it was bad because it really made me feel some type of way because I was like, I was very taken aback, and he was like, he was joking to like through his perspective, but like on a real note, like it wasn't. That's not cool at all. You can't accuse somebody of something like that. So that's like, that was like that, you know, that comment that dudes throw out there, like, oh yeah, I don't want him hitting on me. I don't want him looking at me or anything like that. Was taken like to the next level, and I was just. He was like, it was weird. I'm like, why would you?
That's weird.
I don't even like. I don't even know you. I didn't know that kid.
Yeah.
But he himself had a lot of like things he would do, like his behaviors. If you get what I'm trying to hint at, you know, did have a little bit of like homosexual tendencies, and that's something else I wanted to point out was a lot of these people that definitely like if they're making it outwardly known that they don't like, you know, people of the community, they might be of the community. And that is, it's like a, it's, I don't want to say it's an issue, but it's definitely a thing. There's so many people who have not come out. Some people are actually okay. I've talked to dudes who are okay with being in the closet, and they just don't want to live like that. There's like a whole group of them.
What's the mindset behind that, if you know?
I don't know much because I came out young-ish. I came out as a teenager, so right. I understand where they're coming from, but some people are like willingly, but they will willingly stay in the closet and they will just do all of this stuff behind closed doors. Yeah. And I think that's like wild.
That's interesting.
One more thing.
Yeah. No, bro. Go on and take your time. Listen, you go on as long as you want, bro. You're here to freely express yourself as long as you want. We can keep going for another 30 minutes if you wanted to. Sure. I'm just being considerate of the time because, you know, I don't want you, like I said, we have an 8 p.m. curfew here in the city. Yeah. And I don't want to get you in any sort of trouble.
Yeah, I really appreciate that.
Yeah, but no, I don't mind going on. Listen, we can go on for 2 hours. Right. Fuck it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I really don't even, doesn't bother me.
But there's a lot of, even though like the LGBT community to some might seem like very accepting and open, there's still a lot of discrimination in the community. And I didn't know that until I started to go deeper into the community, because I mean, I feel like I can say this, I'm 18, like I've gone through like these dating apps. They're the ones for all kinds of people, the ones for gay people, and they have a lot of stuff. I know the gays know what I'm talking about, but there's you know, some people put in their descriptions like no fats, no femmes, no blacks, no Asians.
What's that? Well, no fats, no femmes.
Like no fat dudes, or like no heavier set people, no God. Feminine guys. And there's a lot of, they could say it's like it's just preference. I understand preference, but there's a lot of discrimination. And I remember in one of your episodes you were saying like the POC experience is not the same as like the black experience.
Yeah. The POC experience is different amongst all POC. Yeah, I'm a firm believer in that. Yeah. The black experience and the Asian experience in America is two different experiences. Could be similar in some ways. I'm not saying it's not. Yeah. But definitely also like, you know.
It's definitely different.
Yeah.
And there's like, I want to point out that there's definitely a difference between like all of us, like a lot of us. Like my experience is different, definitely from like, you know, the white gays experience. I know they do receive hate and all that, but I want to believe that it doesn't compare to like the stuff that people of the community of color, especially black people of the community, go through. And there's so much like just, it's blatant discrimination. I don't like this, I don't like that, I don't like you because you're this, that, and the third. So yeah, it's something that needs to be like pointed out and like, I want to say magnified just for the sake of the community, because it's kind of ridiculous.
That's interesting. I didn't know that, honestly.
I just want to shed some light on that because it's weird.
Deep. I mean, listen, man. All right, so we just had some technical difficulties go on. The camera just got full on us, the SD card, but I had to, you know, take care of that. But Robert, you can go on if you would like and, you know, finish what you were saying.
Yeah, there's a lot of discrimination in the community, and I feel like it's something that needs to be further like you know, elaborated on and like magnified, because I don't believe like enough people know. And it's just a lot of things about, there's certain things about being gay that's like different, especially like dating and stuff. I'm just now like getting into that, and it's very different. I know a lot of people like myself can say the same, like they've been on these dating apps way before that, like, you know, the legal age and stuff like that, trying to meet other people like them. And it's hard to like meet, you know, gay people in person because it's not like above our head or something like that unless unless you like present yourself a certain way that would point to you being gay or whatever. But it's hard because we can't just go out and be like, hey, you know, like I like you, like what's up, this and that. And
because like, you know, depending on who you interact, you know, being real, you might get socked.
Yes, you could very well put yourself in danger.
You might get socked, like, for real, man.
So it's like that's very different too. Like a lot of us have to meet each other online, and thank God for the internet, honestly, because I know there was certain ways. I'm not too well versed on gay history, sadly, but I know that people did certain things, had certain tattoos, and wore certain things on them that would like indicate to them like being a part of the community. And there's just a lot of difference, like with especially like I want to say maybe preference, because there's I just lost train of thought, but there's dudes that hate on the gays that are more feminine. They're called femmes. And there's the dudes that are more masculine. They get hate. We all get hate. The big gays.
So that is so interesting. The fact that an oppressed group could find a way to also oppress others.
Yes, like.
And it happens in the black community with light skins and Hispanics.
Yeah.
It happened when Europeans came to Africa, when they couldn't preach their God. They came here, and when they came here, they forced their religion on others. So we have a solid trend in history, and I would love to do some research on that. But why do oppressed people tend to oppress those even below them? You know, that's why I always kind of said, you know, if aliens came to Earth, we're like so fucked.
Yeah.
Because first of all, if they have the technology to get to Earth, right, then it's safe to say they have better technology than us. Okay, that's one. Two, based on history, I mean, aliens aren't humans though. I think that's all like human traits. But let's say, right, based on history, when another group more advanced comes in contact with a group who's not as advanced, it usually turns into some sort of oppression.
Yeah.
Yo, it's just something. It's just something I just thought of real quick.
It's very weird, and I don't really know where this comes from. I have ideas, but I don't really know. I feel like a lot of us don't really know, but maybe it's just like probably a lot of people in the community think that they're better than others in the community. Like, for example, like me thinking I'm better than like somebody who's in the community who's like trans and black or whatever. Like, I feel like it just comes down to like belief, like what you believe. You believe you're above this, you believe you're above that. And in reality, we've all been moved away from society in a way because we're not considered the norm, because we're not heterosexual or anything but that. So we've been moved into our own little space. But like you said, in that space, it's just we've managed to like bring hate on each other and then cover it up with something like preference or something like that, or like oh no, it's just, you know, what I like, whatever.
That's interesting. That's definitely interesting, Robert.
Very weird.
It's very, I mean, you know, I'm not gonna comment on it because it's not my, you know, who am I to comment on that? Maybe the preference part, I think people having a preference, I don't see a big deal with that. You know, everybody likes what they like. I can't tell you what you can and can't, you know, have a relationship with. Who am I to tell you that? But
it's weird. Like the preference thing is weird because
it can get weird because it kind of gets. Yeah, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
Like you notice that. It's like a lot of people, they'll chalk it down to preference, but then they'll put this, and this, and this, and then no this, no this, no this, no that. So it's like ultimately, for example, like okay, so you're just asking for like a masculine white gay dude. Yeah. Because you're excluding everything else, and then you chalk it up to preference. When in reality, it seems like something like a little bit deeper.
It seems like it's not. It's not that it's just preference.
Yeah, it's
you can't say it's preference that you go out and discriminate.
Yeah,
that's my issue. A lot of time when people say preference. So like, here's the thing, right? I've encountered this so many times, and I've gotten into so many arguments with like so many people with this, bro, and it gets me so pissed off. But like, I've met so many guys and they go like, yeah, man, I don't like dark skinned chicks. Yeah. And I'm like, to me, that kind of comes from a point of anti-black like standpoint. You know what I'm saying? Like that's definitely something like that was like taught. I think Like, but like, fine, people have their preference.
Yeah.
But it's when you say that, and then you go and say, you know, why you don't like them, and then you realize it's some like prejudice or some like discriminating things. And I'm just like bro, what? Like,
you're just...
now that's not even preference. You just kind of you're just stuck in your ways.
Yeah.
Like, that's how I see it. And like, you know, people nowadays, man, they want to build a bear person. You know, they want you to, like, you know, I see one post that say, you know, women want you to be 6'6" with a Corvette and be able to play football and be, you know, be able to build a house and all that. It's like, man, listen, that's not how life is, okay?
Yeah.
You know, if you're gonna go out and date and you're gonna live your life like that, I think you're gonna be forever chasing love. You're gonna be forever chasing somebody because you're not gonna find you know, J. Cole said it best. You gotta love yours. You gotta love what you got, you know? You can always go find a bigger butt. You can always go find a bigger pair of tits. You can always go find, you know, whatever. But until you love what you got, until you love, you know, you could drive a Chevy and I could drive a Lambo. You know what I'm saying? But if you love that Chevy, man, that Chevy means everything to you.
Yeah. And
there's no price tag on it at all. And so I just think that's crazy. I don't agree with that. If you're gonna keep going out, you know, fine, go for what you like. I'm not saying not to, you know, but I'm just saying, if you live your life that way, you're forever gonna be chasing. You're forever gonna be chasing because you know, you may be. Let's say for me, right? You find a girl, you like her, but you meet, I don't know, Caitlyn, and Caitlyn has a bigger butt, you know. But it's like you really like that girl. But if you're going for what you really want in terms of preference, you're forever gonna be chasing. So this girl you probably really like and who's probably really, really down for you, you just lost her because you're going after, you know, just your stuck up your preference and you're stuck in your ways. So you got to get what you want. Yeah,
like they have to meet all of your expectations, which isn't realistic. Like nobody's gonna meet all your expectations.
No one. That's impossible. No one's perfect. Okay, no one's perfect. Like, I tell you, listen, man. I always said, yo, like, me personally, I don't find like those girls who you know, maybe looking like IG models and stuff, you know, like, you know, guys see them, they go crazy over them. I'm just more like, because, you know, there's something behind that we don't know about. Yeah. Everybody has demons they fight in. Yeah. Everyone has something that they got going on. And, you know, people see the highlights. You know what I'm saying? Like someone told me that you only see LeBron James dunking and, you know, LeBron James winning championships, but you don't see LeBron in the gym. You don't see Kobe in the gym. You don't see Michael Jordan in the gym. You just see the highlights. Yeah, and that's what people go for. That's what people always think about. And if there's one message I want to get out of the show, you can also, you know, share the message of, you know, the mindset of a gay black man is to not go for just the glitz and glamour, you know? Like, no, bro, like that's not something that you should go for, because I'll tell you one thing, and I've kind of always been the guy that, like, I've done it, you know, going for the glitz and glamour. You know, I can't do that because, you know, it's not going to look as strong as, you know, so-and-so. When you keep doing that, and if you keep living life like that, you're going to forever be unsatisfied. And I don't care what you say, because you're always going to be looking at the man over there and seeing, yo, why his joint looking like that? Man, focus what you got, man. Focus on what you got going on. Focus on what you're doing. Yeah. And you're gonna be all right. You're gonna be all right, man. So that's that. But, you know, that's all I'm gonna say. Rob, any last words? For like the third time. Sorry. Nah, man, I just really want to be considerate of the time, man. Yeah. I really don't want you to get caught outside. I know the cops, like, they've been wilding lately. Yeah. You know? Like,
I gotta be careful.
Yeah, nah, my homegirl was telling me, you know, she was on her way home. She got stopped 3 different times. Another one of my homeboys, he was in an Uber. They pulled him over in the Uber and told him to roll down the windows. So I'm just really trying to be considerate of what's going on. Yeah. But any last words, Rob? You know, anything you want to say? Anything you want to say to folks out there who, like I said, maybe dealing with what you're going through or anything like that? Like, you know,
just it's probably gonna be really generic, but like, just stay open-minded, stay open in general. You know, trust your purpose and your path. Always do the math. You know, stuff like that. Ooh. Yes, I got that from a song. But,
that was fire.
And just really, like, it's very corny, but be true to yourself, because, like, can't nobody be you. So please be yourself.
Hey, man, I appreciate you taking the time, bro.
Of course.
Always, my guy. This is the host. This is your host. I said no host. This is your host, Nikai Santiago, signing out. This is the Santiago Show. This is episode 14.
Yeah.
Robert, once again, thank you so much. I appreciate you for taking your time out.
Thank you for having me on. Like, this is really cool.
Bro, thanks you, man. You're always welcome back. Just give me a call, holla at me.
Right.
You guys already know the message. Keep your shoelaces tied. Be safe. You know, don't do anything stupid.
Yeah. Be safe.
Tell your folks at home you love them, because you know you're not guaranteed tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
I'll see you guys on the next episode. So be safe. All right. Okay, guys. All right.